What's up, everyone? Eli here, the internet's second-tiredest music teacher. Today we're coming at you with a song that was by my choice, and we are going to be checking out the title track from Lamb of God's Ashes of the Wake album from 2004. So this album actually is 20 years old today, and this track is unique. It's an instrumental track, but it features a snippet of an interview from former Marine Staff Sergeant Jimmy Massey after his return from the Iraq War. And another thing with this album is a lot of it is very focused on conflict and military engagement in the Middle East, as this album was right as we were getting into the heat of the war in Iraq back in the first part of the 2000s. So it's really interesting. But this one is super groovy. This track, anyway, it features 3 different solos following the interview snippet. And the first solo, I do believe, is Mark Morton. And then our second soloist is Alex Skolnick from Testament. And then the third solo is Chris Poland, formerly of Megadeth, running through that. And it's a super groovy track. And looking at the interview snippets in context of today, you can kind of draw some parallels, unfortunately, of different things we have going on here in 2024, but also looking back on it with the lens of we're now 20 years past that interview and we have a bunch more information. It's kind of rough to look at and think about. But anyway, all right, let's give it a go. Got this introductory kind of riff going through here now. Before we get too far into it, I know we're like right before the first solo here, if you're familiar with the track. But the way that just grooves their way through there, through that interview snippet, is just so beefy there. And it's such a great, familiar sound with this new wave American metal, like right in its early prime. So just absolutely love it. And they're just rolling in drop D here, which is awesome. Gives it that really heavy sound, but it's not actually like a super tuned down type of deal. So let's hear it though. First solo. And then this drop in here is great. This next part, heavy. got these transition riffs again, and before we jump into the next one, first half of that had way over here on the left side, and then our second part of that came up over here to the right, so you get this nice spatial division between where these solos are coming from as you're running through the track. But it's such a heavy groove to have the opportunity to solo on top of that. I just think it's so sick. Hopefully you guys are hearing the same kind of thing. This is our calm before the next. All right. Let's talk about that. I look at it from two different ways. We have the interview content paired with the instrumental underlying from there, and then we have the solos as two different distinct sections. And I think the lyric or the word choice from those interviews was very well done when looking at the context of the overall album and how it pairs in with the lyrical content from across different tracks. With the solos, though, I think it's the start of the second guitar solo is my favorite part coming up through there. But all three of the guitarists you can hear have this very American kind of bluesy sound as they go through, and that starts to become a lot more apparent in Lamb of God's work as they go into the what is that album? That's embarrassing. I have lyrics from that album tattooed on my arm. One second. It's their Resolution album. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking Desolation, which is that title track, I think. No, that's Straight for the Sun. Desolation's shortly after that in the track list. Anyway, so a lot of the guitar work going through those solos is just so clean and gives you that sense of, I don't know quite how to frame it, sense of like weird empowerment as you're listening, and it really provides accentuation to the interview content when you're listening to how he felt in the very last part as it was fading out to the end, like being forced into doing something and like this heavy sort of sensation that it must take on a person, and a lot of that bending you hear in the solos going into the harmonic, and then dives that are really drawn out, like the wow. Like we hear that kind of thing a lot as we go through some of this here, and so I think it's like a fairly accurate parallel to draw there. When you're listening to this, you get to hear those little musical things that may not have stood out with that particular context to you initially. And that's something I literally just thought of as I went through and listened to it this time. And I've listened to this whole album, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 times. So just thinking about that from this perspective it's nice, it's refreshing, it's interesting. Anyway, if you like this kind of content and you want to see more, especially some metal, I'm always down for some metal. You can drop a comment down below, or you can fill out the Google form in the channel description. We're trying to drop videos Monday through Friday, 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Saturday, Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely give that a go, and you all can curate this content pretty much entirely, and I'll put one or two of my videos in every once in a while. But yeah, until then, Internet's second-tiredest music teacher, this is E-Law out.